Chapter 526, Fierce Fighting for 500 Kilometers. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The inner and outer layers of the holy soft leather armor were carved with many inscriptions. There were also other precious materials for refining weapons, like dragon scale, dragon skin, and Yuan feathers. Therefore, the defensive power of the holy soft leather armor was more than 10 times more powerful than that of the saint's skin. After all, this was a holy weapon. An ordinary 100 inscription weapon could not break the holy soft leather armor. Only by using the 1000 inscriptions weapon, could one pierce through it. Xihai was rather arrogant. He said with a smile, "Zhang Yuochen, now you should have known my trump card. Wearing the holy soft leather armor will increase my speed to 7 times of speed velocity. Even a monk at the 7th change of the fish dragon realm might not be able to catch up with me, and the saint power in the armor can enhance my power." Did that palm hit feel good? Xihai was the best master. Once the inscription and saint power of the holy soft leather armor were activated, his strength was even more powerful. Even if Zhang Yuochen had the dragon pearl to protect his body, after a hit like that, he was badly hurt. Suddenly, Xihai became serious and his eyes grew sharp. "But, you also brought me a big surprise. You actually can use the power of space. If I were not wearing the holy soft leather armor, I could have died under your sword." Zhang Yuochen smiled and seemed not to be hurt. He said with ease, "The defense of the holy soft leather armor is not impossible to break." Xihai was surprised first. Then he laughed loudly. "Your holy sword is just a 100 inscription weapon. No matter how powerful it is, it can't pierce through the holy soft leather armor." "The 100 inscription weapon may not be able to pierce through the holy soft leather armor," Zhang Yuochen said calmly. "But there is always some part of your body that can't be defended by the armor. Like your eyes." The holy soft leather armor was made of saint's skin. It clearly could not defend his eyes. Xihai snorted. "Even if my eyes are unguarded, so what? Do you think I will just stand there and wait for your attack?" Zhang Yuochen still had a smile on his face. He took out 6 golden holy swords from the spatial ring. Under the control of the heart of the sword, the 6 holy swords floated up and flew in 6 different directions around his body. Seeing how calm and composed Zhang Yuochen was, Xihai was worried. Zhang Yuochen's sword technique has already reached the heart integrated into sword realm. "I'd better be careful." So Xihai shut his eyes. That way he didn't have to worry about Zhang Yuochen attacking his eyes. Actually, with Xihai's realm, there was no difference whether he had his eyes open or closed. His martial soul and spiritual power had better perception than his eyes. Seeing Xihai close his eyes, Zhang Yuochen knew that he was a bit horrified. Even though he wore the holy soft leather armor, he was not confident enough in himself. After all, Zhang Yuochen had killed 2 elders from the Saint Xi gentry without leaving any blood on his weapon, and he had sent another elder into the auspicious vase. It was because of this that Xihai felt a psychological shadow. He felt that Zhang Yuochen's means were too weird, impossible to guard against. With any carelessness, he would die under Zhang Yuochen's sword. Maybe Xihai did not even realize that Zhang Yuochen had already penetrated his psychological defense. Once a person had fear, no matter how powerful he was, he would die for sure. The flaw of the holy soft leather armor was indeed the eyes. However, Zhang Yuochen had never thought that he would have to attack Xihai's eyes. The reason was very simple. The eyes were located on the front of a person and also the place with the best protection. When both sides were well matched in strength, if one side wanted to attack the other's eyes, it was almost impossible. Moreover, Xihai was more powerful than Zhang Yuochen. If Zhang Yuochen wanted to break his defense with a frontal attack and stab the sword into his eyes, it was an impossible task. If he did that, the one that would die was surely Zhang Yuochen, not Xihai. What Zhang Yuochen really wanted to use was space power. This was the only way to kill Xihai. Certainly, in the holy soft leather armor Xihai was terribly fast. If he suddenly used the space crack and space collapse, he could probably escape. If he escaped once, and then used space power to attack a second time, it would be impossible to hurt him. Whoosh! Zhang Yuochen grinned. He pointed his finger forward and applied the sword defending technique. 6 golden holy swords flew out at the same time. Xihai's first instinct was that Zhang Yuochen was going for his eyes. So he struck out a handprint quickly to protect his face. He sent the 6 holy swords flying away. But the 6 holy swords revolved in a circle in the void space and attacked toward him again. I am more powerful than Zhang Yuochen, and I am wearing the holy soft leather armor. Why can I only defend passively? No, I will initiate an attack. Xihai infused genuine chi into the holy soft leather armor. He was growing more and more powerful. A saint power burst out from the soft armor and formed a circle of energy ripples. He hit the 6 holy swords and they flew out in all directions. Rock Birth Death Fist. The 7 times speed velocity Xihai exposed turned into a flying light. It rushed at Zhang Yuochen and struck out an overbearing fist technique. Rock Birth Death Fist was a mid-class ghost level fist technique. Xihai had practiced it for 5 years and only succeeded in 2 moves. Xihai had killed a 5th level medium level Bloodtail Qilin with these 2 moves. It was in that battle that his strength had been approved by the high level of Saint Xigentry and he became the heir of the future leader of Saint Xigentry. Saint Xigentry and the ancient mythical beast Rock had a great source of origin. So the direct descendants of Saint Xigentry had blood of the mythical beast Rock in their bodies. Rock Birth Death Fist was a unique technique that the Saint of Saint Xigentry had perceived from the Rock martial classics. He infused 32 forms of Rock into the martial arts and evolved it into 32 devastating fist techniques. It was just the beginning of the fight. Xihai had applied his most powerful unique technique. Hence, he attached great importance to Zhang Yuochen. A layer of light shadow appeared on Xihai's body and formed a rock shape. The rock's illusory image was more than 70 meters high. It was like an ancient rock floating in the sea, emitting a stroke of trembling mythical beast of reckless waste Sora. Bang! A giant fist shadow flew out. It seemed to overturn all the sea area. That's a mid-class ghost level fist technique. Zhang Yuochen saw the rock's illusory image and the overwhelming fist strength. He gulped and retreated backward. Under such circumstances, he could only fight with Xihai by activating the Divine Dragon Transformation. However, he could only activate the Divine Dragon Transformation if he kept striking out Dragon and Elephant Prajnapalm. The probability was quite low. It could only be done by sheer luck. The situation was quite critical now. Zhang Yuochen was not allowed to try his luck. He chose not to fight recklessly with Xihai and applied space moving immediately, rushing toward the bottom of the water. Boom! Xihai's fist technique hit the surface of the water and pushed the whole sea level down, raising up giant waves as high as lofty mountain. Funny. Don't you know that the rock is the dominator of water? Xihai laughed wildly and rushed into the water, chasing after him. Xihai had the holy soft leather armor, yet Zhang Yuochen had space moving. So, although Xihai's speed was astonishing, he could never catch up with Zhang Yuochen. The 2 men ran across the water, one chasing and the other escaping. The holy chi and rock aura sending out from Xihai's body terrified the savage beasts in the water. They thought they had met the sovereign being and all retreated in succession, not daring to get close. Zhang Yuochen applied the sword defending technique and continued striking out the 6 golden holy swords. At the same time, he regulated the power of Thunderbolt with his spiritual power and launched an attack over his shoulder. He kept making trouble for Xihai. Zhang Yuochen can indeed control space power. Every time he does a space jump, it has a distance of 99 meters. I can never catch up with him. Xihai was crossed and slightly on edge. They chased each other 500 kilometers. There was a 10-meter high reef island up ahead. Xihai stretched out both his arms at the same time, condensing them into 2 genuine chi hands dozens of meters long. He lifted the island. Boom! Both his arms lifted hard and the reef island flew forwards, attacking toward Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen turned back and saw a small black hill flying toward him. It cast a giant shadow on the water. Zhang Yuochen stopped to condense his strength and infused genuine chi into the Abyss Ancient Sword. A stroke of white sword light rushed out of the sword tip. Sword chi burst out from the sword edge. Break. Zhang Yuochen struck out his sword. It clashed together with the reef island. The reef island split open in the middle and flew left and right. The 2 pieces dropped in the sea. Xihai rushed out. In a flash, he was in front of Zhang Yuochen. He struck out a palm fist of eternal truth. Xihai's arms let out a bang. Pieces of blue scales appeared on the surface of his skin and every finger emitted the light of death. It could be imagined that the power of this fist must be devastating. Once it hit, even a small hill would be smashed to pieces. Apparently, Xihai seemed to have control over the whole situation. He could kill Zhang Yuochen in an instant. However, in Zhang Yuochen's opinion, this was his chance. It was right now. Who would die? Zhang Yuochen or Xihai? Seeing that Xihai was getting nearer and nearer, Zhang Yuochen became firmer. He secretly regulated power of space and gathered it to the fingertips of his right hand. His arms struck out quickly and he pointed his finger forward.